On April 8th, 2026, at 2 a.m. Pacific, Meta announced Muse Spark and reset the open source conversation. This opening slide frames the pivot from open weight momentum to a proprietary superintelligence strategy. The four headline signals on screen are the launch date, a 58% humanities last exam claim, a 38% frontier science score, and a clearly closed release posture. Let's establish the context first, then unpack the structure step by step. This is the setup marker for the section, not the argument itself. Now, the section title appears and frames the core question: why this topic is standalone but high impact. Now the full chart is visible. In the center, Muse Spark marks the shift from open weight ceiling to proprietary acceleration. The branches show the four pressure zones: benchmark warfare, consumer surfaces, open source shock, and safety narrative. Here, the before and after comparison makes the strategic trade explicit. Why this topic exists. On the left, Llama 4 Maverick keeps Meta strong in open ecosystems with high trust but weaker frontier reasoning edge. Open community momentum versus proprietary endgame. On the right, Muse Spark is positioned as a closed system with higher execution speed and much lower openness. Before Llama 4 Maverick, 17B active parameters kept Meta central. The takeaway is not subtle. Meta appears willing to spend community goodwill to gain faster proprietary iteration at the reasoning frontier. This source-backed slide covers the origin story in sequence. After mixed reception around the Llama rollout, Meta restructures aggressively, forms Meta Superintelligence Labs under Alexander Wang, and pushes Project Avocado as a natively multimodal reasoning effort. The right panel shows the official launch page as visual evidence. Post-Llama 4 mixed reception triggered a major internal restructuring. The key claim is operational. A rebuilt pre-training stack with compute requirements reduced by roughly an order of magnitude. The timeline compresses 3 milestones into one visual arc. Summer 2025 marks recognition of an open weight ceiling. Late 2025 shows Meta Superintelligence Labs and Hyperion scale alignment, including CapEx guidance reaching $135 billion. Then April 8, 2026 is the launch event for Muse Spark with contemplating mode framing. This sequence supports the thesis that the pivot was planned, funded, and executed as a system-level shift. This dashboard combines benchmark signals with scale signals, so we can compare narrative strength against execution capacity. Quantitative snapshot. On the benchmark side, the slide keeps the 58 and 38 score claims visible. On the scale side, we anchor to concrete numbers. 17 billion active parameters in Llama 4 context, more than 1,000 physicians cited for quality tuning, and CapEx guidance up to $135 billion. Muse Spark benchmark claims humanity's last exam. Mixed units, but one consistent message: this is industrial scale deployment intent. The current discussion is polarized, and this split layout shows why. The left side lists the argument pattern. A perceived break from Llama-era openness, credibility reinforcement through independent leaderboard tracking, and a reframing of test-time compute as orchestrated multi-agent behavior. Performance is fueling the debate, not ending it. The right side keeps a benchmark tracking screenshot visible as external context. Open source communities read this as a philosophical break from Llama era. So performance gains are central to the debate, but they do not resolve concerns around governance, access, and long-term transparency. This architecture diagram translates the script into a flow model. Inputs combine text tokens, visual tokens, and tool context. 3 specialized agent branches run in parallel: logic, retrieval, and policy paths. Their outputs merge in an orchestrator that applies thought compression policy and latency-controlled expansion before response generation. The point of this picture is operational, not decorative. The product claim is parallel orchestration for stronger reasoning while controlling latency at inference time. Now we zoom into application priorities. In the health lane, the script cites involvement from over 1,000 physicians as a quality and risk reduction signal for high-stakes use. In the consumer lane, the slide highlights Ray-Ban wearables, Instagram and WhatsApp as native endpoints. Together, these points suggest Meta is positioning Muse Spark as infrastructure for product behavior, not only as a benchmark model. Health capability emphasis article states 1,000 plus physicians were involved too. Distribution and reliability are treated as first-class strategy inputs. This source evidence card reinforces the rollout thesis with product surface coverage. Current integration signal? The script language emphasizes insertion into social and wearable touchpoints, which supports the idea that Muse Spark is a platform control move, not a standalone model launch. Surface-level product rollout, Mashable coverage. It also ties low-latency personalization to multi-agent orchestration, not just longer single-model thinking. In practice, that implies tighter integration between reasoning systems and recommendation systems across Meta consumer products. The risk matrix helps separate upside from uncertainty. Safety plus capability tension. Low risk, high impact sits with selective enterprise application programming interface, monetization while maintaining release control. Strategic risk matrix from the script claims. High risk, high impact captures evaluation, awareness behavior, and potential benchmark governance trust issues. Low strategic impact, high strategic impact, low risk, medium impact maps to incremental scaling in consumer recommendation surfaces. Low risk, high impact private, API preview for enterprise. High risk, medium impact marks unresolved long horizon agentic coding. So the central tension is clear. Fast deployment gains versus governance and capability reliability questions. For the next 6 to 12 months, this trajectory chart prioritizes 4 lanes. Wearables, integration, and native social shopping rank highest. Enterprise application programming interface monetization is selective but meaningful. And agentic coding workflows remain explicitly unresolved. The browser panel keeps enterprise roadmap context visible while the bars communicate relative confidence from script language. This is important. The chart is not a market forecast. Projected rollout lanes, wearables integration. It is a structured interpretation of declared direction and current constraints. This references slide is here to preserve traceability. The left panel groups core release and benchmark context, including the official Meta announcement, independent tracking, and strategic analysis coverage. The right panel groups product integration and commerce direction sources. Keeping these links visible in the deck matters because the argument relies on synthesis across multiple signals, not one headline. Core release plus benchmark context Meta. If you challenge any claim here, start by validating it against these primary and secondary sources. Final takeaway. Across strategy, architecture, and product distribution, the same pattern appears. Meta traded open weight goodwill for closed model velocity and tighter orchestration control. The closing metrics summarize that stack. A new execution center, multi-agent test time mechanisms, consumer native deployment, and selective enterprise monetization. The immediate implication is that competitive advantage may come less from public model access and more from integrated surface control, plus fast internal iteration loops.